Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, Northern Ireland's First Minister Arlene Foster is facing revolt by the Democratic Unionist Party she leads. A letter reportedly signed by around three-quarters of the party's assembly members calling for her resignation and triggering a leadership contest. Troubles over and a deep-seated visceral dislike for the Northern Ireland Protocol and perhaps unease about the new law which will make abortion legal for the first time in Northern Ireland have created unrest for many in the party. Lewis Goodall is here now. What do you think has actually kicked this off in this letter, Lewis?
Well, I mean, I think we should start by saying that this has never happened before. The DUP are traditionally extremely disciplined party. There's never been a leadership contest before. We don't know absolutely certain there's going to be one now, but it seems very, very likely. A huge proportion, it seems, broken by the Belfast newsletter, a big proportion of the party's MPs and MLAs signing this letter of no confidence, both in Arlene Foster and her deputy, Nigel Dodds. I think several things have led to this. There is, of course, long-standing disenchantment with Arlene Foster over the Northern Irish Protocol, a sense that she was outplayed and outmanoeuvred during the Brexit negotiations. Also, a vote where she abstained on gay conversion therapy in Stormont this week rather brought things to a head as well. But talking to people in Belfast and reporting from there, as I've done a lot over this year and before, I think there's also a sense that this is an act of desperation to some extent from the DUP. They know that as a result of all of those things I've just been talking about, particularly the protocol, there is a hemorrhaging of support for the party on both ends of its coalition, both its working class loyalist base, some of whom we've seen taken to the streets over the past few weeks, or encouraging children in some cases to take to the streets, and from its more middle class base as well in places like Belfast, generally supporting more and more the Alliance Party. So I think to some extent this is an act of desperation to try and shore up, potentially get someone new in, potentially someone less damaged, implicated with the events of the last 5 years. Maybe it won't stop all of the bleeding, but it might stop some of it if they put someone in there who is perhaps on the more hardline edge of the party, who might appeal to some of those more traditional working class loyalist communities.
So briefly, Lewis, if she is replaced, would you expect it to fundamentally shift the balance of power in Northern Ireland?
Well, the thing is, Emily, is even if she is replaced by someone who is more hardline on these matters, and Agriculture Minister Edward Poots has been mentioned, the fact is the protocol will still be in place. Boris Johnson isn't going to remove it, the Irish government isn't going to remove it, the EU isn't going to remove it. So what levers might they have to pull instead? Well, of course, the big fear, I think, in Northern Ireland tonight is that new First Minister, the new DUP leader, might entertain the prospect of destabilising Stormont itself, potentially pull out of Stormont would be a nuclear option, very, very problematic for the DUP in lots of ways. But as I say, this is a party and a faction within Northern Ireland, tradition within Northern Ireland, loyalism and unionism, which feels desperate. And of course, when a political faction or political party feels desperate, then destabilisation is almost inevitable, and we've seen that with the wider politics of Northern Ireland, and what's happening with Arlene Foster is the latest manifestation of that desperation.
Lewis, thanks very much indeed.